Hey everybody, I hope everybody's doing well today. Today I'm bringing you what I would consider an ETF satellite holding. Now, a couple videos back I spoke of a core holding ETF. That was the SDHV video. If you missed that, I'll link that down below. This one, and I spoke about that being a core holding and part of a satellite strategy. So this ETF we're talking about today would be more of a satellite holding. In other words, you have your core and then you have little bits and pieces around your core that concentrate on little bits of the market that you want to target. Okay. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate you. Please consider giving me a subscribe. Please consider subscribing. Comment down below, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. I go over a lot of ETFs here. We do a lot of ETF reviews. I do reveal my dividend income portfolio once a month, and I did that last Saturday, so I'll link that one as well. I do some different income strategies as far as covered calls are concerned. I track a paper portfolio that I'm going to use in retirement to generate income, and I'm going to track that for quite a long time because I want to see if that strategy runs into trouble with any market corrections or things like that. I think that would be interesting to follow. So that's going to be a long-standing series on this channel. Also, if you appreciate anything that I do here and you shop on Amazon, in a pinned comment down below and in the description, I will have my link to Amazon. And what that does is any purchase you make on Amazon through that link, it doesn't have to be what's linked in the link when you click on it. It can be anything you want. But if you purchase anything through that link through Amazon, I will get a small commission on qualified purchases at no additional cost to you. So it's kind of a win-win if you're an Amazon shopper and you could support me in a little way like that. So if you would do that, I would truly appreciate it. So the ETF we are talking about today is called REGL. The ticker symbol is REGL. This one is actually brought to my attention by a viewer down in the comments section, and I got to looking at this thing, and this thing is pretty darn awesome, but it's not a core holding. So it could be just a piece of your portfolio, or another good thing with this one is you can scour the holdings here and maybe find stocks to invest in. That's another great way to use some of these ETFs. But this one is ticker symbol REGL, and it's the ProShares S&P Midcap 400 Dividend Aristocrats ETF. Excuse me. Why they call it 400? You would think it would have 400 holdings, but I'm not sure quite why they call it the Midcap 400, but let's look at real quick the index construction and see what qualifies to go in there. So essentially, all constituents of the S&P Midcap 400 comprise the initial selection universe. So all the companies with increasing dividends for at least 15 consecutive years are selected and form the index. If the number of companies chosen in step 2 is fewer than 40, then the remaining constituents are classified according to the length of their dividend growth history in years and according to their dividend yield. Stocks are added to the index in descending order of dividend yield, starting with the longest dividend growth history until the index contains 40 constituents. Excuse me. But I'm drawing a little bit of a blank here because the ETF actually holds more than 40 constituents, so I'm not quite sure how that works. But so that's how it gets in. How companies get into this ETF is by having the main thing is having increasing dividends for at least 15 consecutive years. So it is a very concentrated portfolio, and that is why you wouldn't probably want this as a core holding. And let's take a look at it. So this one has a total of 51 stocks, 51 companies, probably 50 actually, because the one is probably cash. It holds just under 98% in North America exposure and just over 2% in Europe. And that includes the United States and the United Kingdom. 62.68% is considered small cap companies. It's weird because it's called the Midcap 400. I don't make this stuff up. I'm just reviewing. And 28% make up mid-cap, just under 7% in micro-cap, and 2.35% in other. Morningstar classifies this as a mid-cap blend. So if we look, the top 10 has 25% of the holdings, and the other 40 has 75. So it's pretty much equal weighted for the most part, per se. And if you look at their top 10 holdings, there's some familiar names. Aaron's Inc. I think that's the Aaron's Furniture or Rental. I'm not too familiar with a lot of these. New Skin Enterprises, I believe, is a consumer staple stock for lotions and things of that nature. Polaris is a recreational vehicle or ATV manufacturer. Ryder System is a truck leasing company. REGL Belvoir, I'm not sure what that is, and I don't know if I said that correctly. Bank OZK, I'm familiar with this one. I actually own this one personally. Brown & Brown, I'm not quite sure. RLI Corp, I'm not quite sure. FactSet Research Systems. FactSet does some ETF research as well, kind of like what I do, except I'm not big time FactSet people. And RPM International. RPM, I believe, is the company that makes, among a whole bunch of stuff, Rust-Oleum paint, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm right. So if we look at this, we have just under 28% in financials, 25% in industrials, almost 13.5% in utilities, 10% in consumer staples, 10% in materials, 6% in consumer discretionary, 4% in real estate, and 3.5% in communications services. So what we are missing out of this is technology, we are missing, healthcare, we are missing, and energy, we are missing, because it's such a small group of constituents that they have to choose from. You miss a lot of sectors, so that's why you want this as a satellite holding, because you're not exposed to all the sectors. And that goes for the sister fund of this, which is, everybody knows of the Dividend Aristocrat fund, the large cap one, which is Noble. I don't believe they have any technology in there either. because there's just not that many tech companies that have been paying dividends for 25 years or more. And this one has a even lower benchmark at 15 years, and we still have no technology in there. The only one technology company that I know of that has been paying over 25 years is IBM. I could be wrong. There might be another one, but if there is, let me know down in the comments below. So that is a pretty good mix for 40 50 stocks, whatever it's supposed to be. And if we look at it, expense ratio is a little bit high at 0.40%. But the big, the big plus here is in the dividend. Now, I did a video about high yield investing, low yield, high growth investing, and high yield, low growth investing. If you haven't seen that video, I'm going to link it in a card up here and down below. But this ETF shines in dividend growth. Now, it's only been around for about 5 years, so it doesn't have a huge track record. But if we go over here to the dividend growth tab, you will see the 1-year growth rate at 27.72%, the 3-year growth rate at 25.11%. That, my friends, is huge. Now, that being said, as far as dividend growth, I think we all as investors need to be prepared for the next year or two of having either declining or flat, stagnant dividend growth. There's going to be a lot of companies that still grow their dividend, but they may not grow it as much as they have historically. So we need to be prepared for that. Now, will this fund continue to grow at 25% dividends every year? Not likely, but I think it is a good trend to have for sure. Now, what did the REGL, I like the name REGL, it just sounds fancy. Now, what did REGL do as far as a return? Now, this doesn't go 10 years, so we're just gonna do the max here and we're gonna show it. REGL has returned from 2015, February 5th of 2015 till today, which is recording this on July 24 or July 28th. I guess this hasn't updated yet today. It has returned a total of 47.66%, average annual total return of 7.39%. That is with dividends reinvested. Without dividends reinvested, you got a total return of 46.23 and an average annual return of 7.2%. Now this is only going for 5.47 years, so not much history here. But the main strength, like I've said, of this ETF is to capture some of that mid-cap, small-cap dividend growth. That is the key in this one. If you want to go in and if you're an individual stock picker, maybe pick a couple of stocks out of it, like I own Bank OZK. I probably own a couple others that are in the list as well. That's an excellent way to get some exposure to some of these companies that are small and still growing. But as a small portion of your overall portfolio, I like REGL. It it can serve as a good dividend growth sector in your overall portfolio. So if you have any questions, leave them down below. I'd appreciate it. Leave me a like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you can, use the Amazon link. I'd really appreciate that. It really helps me out tremendously. Thank you guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye. I am not a financial advisor. The information contained in this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be investment advice. Please seek a licensed professional for any investment, tax, or legal advice. Thank you.